Welcome back, painting friends. Today we're going to paint a cute little bear and some honeybees. Colors you're going to need: blue, white, black, brown, yellow, green, and purple. I always have my favorite 4 brushes in the studio: my 1-inch flat brush, my 10-6, and 1 round brush. Don't forget to have a cup of water and a rag for keeping those brushes clean. And remember, if you like what you're seeing here today, make sure that you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Painting with a Purpose, so you're kept up to date on all of the tutorials. So let's get started. I'm going to start with a 1-inch flat brush and some white paint. I'm just going to add some angled lines with white on here. And then I'm going to go in with that blue paint, and I'm just going to fill in this entire canvas with some angled blue lines so it looks a little bit like cloud cover in the sky. Okay, we're going to let this dry and wash our brush off. When we come back, we'll add in the outline of our bear, our tree, and our honey. With the dry background, let's go ahead and lay out where our tree is going to go. I'm going to grab my number 10 round brush, and I'm going to add yellow and brown on my brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a tree branch that just kind of hangs out over here. So I like to make my tree branches like the letter Y. And then after I have that on there, I can add a couple more twigs if I want to. But every time you do this, make sure that you start at the tip of your branch and kind of pull it all the way down so that it looks as though it is a part of the tree. I'm just going to wipe my brush off and take a little bit of white paint and drop some white spots on my tree branch. And then I'm just going to take that brush and I'm going to go over it again, giving it a small highlight at the top of each branch. I'm going to take a little bit of purple and add some purple down at the bottom. Purple's a great shadow color. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just start at the end and just kind of pull those colors across. For my leaves, I'm just going to take some green and yellow paint on my brush, and I'm just going to make really simple, like football shaped leaves. Okay, so super, super, super simple. They can kind of go anywhere you want on your branches. You don't have to have too many of them. It's not the focal point, but it just can kind of fill in some of that space above your bear and his honey. And let's go ahead and line out where our honey is going to be and where our bear is going to go. So I just washed off and rinsed off my brush, and I'm going to come right over here and I'm going to make a little honey beehive sitting right here. And so it's going to start off by being kind of a half oval. And I'm just going to add some white paint in here. I don't have to cover it up too much, just a little bit. And as that's drying, I'm going to come over here and lay out where my bear is going to go. This time I'm just going to grab some brown paint, and I'm going to start right about here, and I'm going to make a big oval shape. This will be my bear's head. And I can go ahead and paint this in that dark brown color. And then before I wipe my brush off, I'm going to grab some white paint and go right up here on the top of his head, just to give him a small little highlight. And I'll grab a little bit of purple and add it right down here at the base. I'm going to go ahead and wash that brush off really good. I'm going to grab some yellow and some white. I'm going to make a little bear snout. So I'm going to start right here at the tip of this head, and I'm going to make just a little triangular shape that kind of goes up and then scoops back down, almost like a duck beak. And fill that in. Then I'm going to add a small curved line back here where it's going to connect into his face, and just go ahead and let that brown mix in with that nose. And let's work on his little ears. I'm going to put one little brown ear back here. It's a nice little bump. We'll add a little bit of white to the top. We'll put another ear right here. Now this ear is going to be a little hard to see, so watch what we're going to do. After we have that ear on there, we're going to take a little bit of that purple paint, and we are going to go just behind that ear with the purple on both sides. And wipe that brush off if you get too much. Just kind of blend that purple out a little bit. And then a little bit of black on the inside for the center of his ear. And a teeny tiny bit of white up at the top. Over here at the tip of his nose, I'm going to take my finger with some black paint on it, and I'm just going to make a nice big black dot on the tip of his nose. All right, we're going to let this dry. When we come back, we're going to add in all the final details. So with the dry background, let's go ahead and add some details onto our picture. First things first, I am going to add yellow over here on my honeycomb or my beehive. And then I'm going to take a little bit of brown and mix it in there. And from there, I'm going to take a little bit of brown. Actually, I'm going to switch brushes. I'm going to take a little bit of brown on my number 6 round brush. And I'm going to start up here at the top, and I'm going to make a line that goes around, kind of bumps out, and just gently scoops back in. And then I'm going to start from that scoop and kind of come out and around and gently scoop back in. I'm going to take some yellow, and I'm going to go right along that scooped in edge, and I'm just going to kind of brush that color in so that it Just kind of gently dissipates into the beehive. I'm going to go in with that same yellow, and I'm just going to go right around this. So I still got my number 6 round brush with some yellow paint. I'm just kind of lightening these edges up. Then I'll take a little bit of white paint, and right at the top of each of these, I'm just going to add a small little white line, a little bit of highlight. And I'm just going to kind of finish this up by blending these colors nice and neat together. I'm going to put a little small black spot right here where the bees are going to be able to enter and exit. All right, back over to this cute little bear. I'm going to take some white paint, and I am going to make an oval shape. And then take some black and drop it right there in the center. I'll use the back of my brush for a little highlight on his eye. And then going over to his nose, I'm going to add a little bit of white paint on a little highlight on his nose. So we'll do a little curved white line. And then a small little dot. I'm going to put a little mouth down here, so I'm just going to make a small little curved line. I'm going to use the back of my brush with some black and white on the back. I'm just going to add a couple of dots on his face. And then you can add your bumblebees anywhere you want them to go. But I'm going to zoom in right on his nose, and I'm going to show you how to make one. All right, to make a sweet little bumblebee, I'm going to start out with some white paint, and I'm just going to make an oval. Once I have that oval on there, I can go ahead and add my yellow paint on there. The reason I added white first is that the yellow will probably look a little green because of the background. So by adding that black, or that white on there first, it helps you. Then I'm going to grab some black paint, and I'm going to paint a little spot for his head. A small little line in the middle, maybe one more at the end. I can go ahead and take some white paint, and I'm just going to make 2 little wings kind of coming off the back of him. Take a little bit of blue paint. I could take my teeniest, tiniest brush, which is my number 1 round brush, and I can give him 2 little antennae. And I can use the back of my brush with some white paint and give him a small little eyeball. And you can make as many of these bees as you want to make. You can just stick with 1 on his nose, or you can fill up the whole background with all these cute little bees. Let's zoom out. I am going to stick with just 1 bumblebee. I don't want to take too much space up with the bumblebees. I think that their little eye contact is the cutest. So I'm going to leave it with one. But let's go ahead and add some final touches. So on my leaves up here, I'm going to go in and add a little bit of white to the tippy top of each little leaf. And then I can even grab some black paint and make my little veins in my leaf. I'm going to go ahead and grab some clean white paint and add a small highlight on the top of his ears, on the top of his head, top of his nose. I'm going to grab some watered down black paint. And all I do is take a little bit of water from my bucket, add a little bit of watered down black paint on here. I'm going to go ahead and outline his eyes. So I've got my number 6 round brush. You can always do this with a Sharpie once it's dry if you don't feel confident adding that on there. I'm going to add a couple of little eyelashes on here. I'm going to add a small little black outline between his mouth and his body. And I think I'm going to take just a little bit of yellow and make just the tip of his nose just a little bit more yellow. Well, I think he's adorable. Now remember, when you finish, you have to pick a color that's going to show up on your canvas and sign your name. I never get to see what you're painting at home unless you post it to my Facebook page, Painting with a Purpose. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Painting with a Purpose, so you're kept up to date on all of the tutorials. And as always, be kind, stay creative, and stay safe. Have a great day, friends. Bye now.